If you have been trying and trying to break some bad money habits, but still find yourself spending way too much on dining out or losing self-control every time you step into the clothing section, well, this video is the answer to your problem. You need to understand the psychology behind habits in order to strategically change them. And I am going to teach you a proven method for breaking bad habits and how you can apply that method to achieve your financial goals. If you want more free education like this on how to save, invest, and make the most of your money, just make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell to get a notification when we release a new video. Alright, so let's just be real. Nothing great ever happened suddenly. Sure, it looks like people have overnight success, but that's only because we didn't see all of the weeks, months, or usually years of effort that went into building their success. When we see an athlete hit the winning shot at the buzzer, well, that championship wasn't won in the moment, it was won in the countless hours they spent training. The same applies to your money habits. In order to achieve financial success, you can't just focus on the end result. You need to work on developing small daily behaviors that will get you there, and you need to stop doing the bad habits that are sabotaging your success. That's the premise of James Clear's #1 New York Times best-selling book, Atomic Habits. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about today comes straight from this book. So if you're not already familiar with James Clear, he's an author who focuses on habits, decision-making, and continuous improvement. In his book, he explains the psychology behind why and how we develop habits. Now, James talks a lot about how to build good habits, but he also explains how you can use the same principles to break bad habits. So really quickly, to adopt good habits, we want to make them obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. So in order to break bad habits, we want to use those same principles, but in reverse. We want to make bad habits invisible, make them unattractive, make them difficult, and make them unsatisfying. We're going to dig into each of these steps and how you can apply them to your money habits in order to break any self-sabotaging behaviors. Go ahead and give this video a like if you're ready to take back control of your finances and change up some habits. Alright, the first strategy is to make bad money habits invisible. Out of sight, out of mind. Ever heard that saying? Well, it's a saying for a reason. Visual cues provide a really big stimulus to us to move towards things that we like or are addicted to. So we want to make the bad habit literally not in your visual field, not something that you see. So for me, I've often tried to quit watching television, and one of the strategies I'll use is I either won't go into the room where the television is, so I just never see it, or I'll literally put a blanket over my television so I don't see it. You want to find a way to change your environment because that's one of the fastest ways to change your behavior. Now, here's something straight out of the book. I love this quote. James writes, "People with the best self-control are typically the ones who need to use it the least." What does that really mean? It means that the people with the best self-control avoid putting themselves in situations that would require any self-control. The key to long-term change is to avoid situations and environments that tempt you to make the poor decision in the first place. So you want to reduce exposure to environments and circumstances that are going to act as triggers for your poor habits. So if you know that you'll be tempted to blow all your money at Target, don't go there. Shop somewhere else. Honestly, even go shop somewhere that you don't like as much. Or if you tend to spend too much money on Amazon, delete the app from your phone. Make it so you don't see that option in your immediate life. The second strategy is to make bad money habits unattractive. One of the ways that we make decisions is we're constantly making predictions about how our actions will affect us. For example, if you see a hot stove, your mind can predict that touching it will burn you and be painful, so you don't do it. We take action based on the anticipation of a reward or to avoid painful consequences. In fact, studies show that people are more motivated by avoiding pain than by gaining a reward. And you can use that to your advantage when breaking bad habits. So right now, your bad money habit likely creates a feeling of pleasure. That's why you do it. It feels good. So you need to find a way to make this more painful. And an easy proven way to do this, if let's say your bad money habit is overspending, well, start paying in cash. Studies have shown that people are much more likely to overspend when paying with a card, and even more so if you're using Apple Pay or swiping with a finger. It's like the money isn't even real at that point. Whereas forking over your hard-earned cash in cash makes it more obvious and a little more painful that you're letting that money go. Now, if you really want to turn this strategy on steroids, go to your bank and take out all of the money that you need for the week in $1 bills. Yeah, force yourself to count out $1 bills every time you spend money and add some pain, like the tediousness of the counting, the heaviness of carrying around a bunch of ones, the embarrassment of holding up the line while you count out your bills. All of that is gonna help make a bad spending habit more painful. The next strategy is to make bad habits difficult. The most aggressive example of this that I've heard of is from the author of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Victor Hugo, who a long time ago was having such a bad habit of procrastinating, he couldn't get his book finished. So he decided to make procrastinating a lot more difficult to do. He took all of his clothes and gave them to his assistant to lock away until the book was finished. So with no clothes to wear, he couldn't go anywhere or have anyone over, and he finally got to work on his book. So take the bad money habit that you want to break and figure out how you can make it more difficult to do. What is your version of giving away all of your clothes? So for example, if you tend to do too much online shopping, delete all of your credit card information from your browsers and log out everywhere. Add a little bit of friction to make it harder to spend the money. I often recommend to people who are really struggling with overspending to take their credit cards and put them in Tupperware with water and literally put them in the freezer. This forces them to actually wait until they thaw to make a new purchase. That makes it harder and gives you some time to consider if that's really what you want to do with your money. Finally, the last strategy is to make bad habits unsatisfying. Now, one of the reasons that it's so easy to slip into bad habits and so difficult to develop good habits is because bad habits usually have an immediate payoff. For example, if you ate a carton of ice cream, well, in the moment, you are enjoying the sweetness and coolness of that treat immediately. But if it becomes a habit over time, it does things that are not so great for your body. Inflammation, higher blood pressure, even diabetes. The feel-good benefits of a bad habit are often immediate, but the painful consequences are often delayed. Like if you have a bad habit of overspending, you get the dopamine hit of buying what you want the moment you want it, and the painful consequence of future you not having enough money in retirement doesn't get felt for a while. So you need to figure out how to make those bad money habits that you want to stop immediately unsatisfying. The goal of this approach is to do it immediately so that you can tie the bad habit, something that you want to break, to something that you dislike. So following our example of trying to break an overspending habit, let's say that your bad habit specifically is spending money without checking your bank account first. So you don't actually know if you have the money to spend. And so here's what you would do. You're going to create a habit contract. This is a verbal or written agreement, and I recommend doing it with 1 or 2 accountability buddies. And you're gonna say in that contract exactly what the new habit you want to form is. So I will check my bank account before spending money. And then you'll also include what punishment you'll do if you skip that. So if I spend money without checking my bank account first, I promise to go back to the store and ask for a return. Even if I can afford what I bought, I must go through the process of checking my bank account and then buying it again. See how we've made that unsatisfying? It's not fun to do that. Now, just having an accountability partner alone can create an immediate cost to inaction because we care what other people think of us. We don't want them to think less of us if we don't follow through. So it also makes breaking your contract a little more public and painful. So those are the top 4 strategies that you can use to help yourself break bad money habits. Make them invisible, make them unattractive, make them difficult, and make them unsatisfying. Now, you can't rely on motivation or willpower to propel you to your financial goals alone. You need to set up strategic systems to help you stop from self-sabotaging and build the future that you want. Let me know in the comments below what bad money habits you want to break and how you're gonna do that. How are you gonna make them more painful or harder to do or less satisfying? And if you want more content like this in the future, give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe.